each day I'll do a golden deed by helping those who are in need. My life on earth is but a span, and so I'll do the best I can. Life's evening sun is sinking low. A few more days, and I must go to meet the deed that I have done. Where there
Praise the Lord. I count it a blessing to be before you this morning. And I want to appreciate God for this gathering that has started over 10 years ago, and how many people have been blessed. I also want to say thank you and show my appreciation to the TKP, his directorship, the members of the council that plans this as an arm of TKP every year. I bring greetings from my wife. We both have been so blessed through the TKP programs over the year, and I must express our gratitude for the privilege we've been given through this avenue. I also bring you greetings from my working place, Olaolu Hospital, where we sustained by the grace of God, even as we celebrated our 51st anniversary last July. The theme for this year's seminar is Before the Sun Set. Before the sun set. The geography students have let us know, and even from our practical experience every day, we know that the sun rises from the east and then sets in the evening in the west. And if you appreciate nature, if you see the sunset, how beautiful it is, made of different colors, golden, yellow, red, violet, very beautiful. So it is my prayer today that we too will have a beautiful sunset. Sunset, as we see it here, is a figurative language. It is the final period of the life of a person or a thing. What will our sunset be? I think that's in the hand of the Lord Almighty. He has given us an insight, however, through the Bible to be prepared for the sunset. The topic we are going to consider this morning, as on the program, is mental exercise for the elderly. Mental exercise for the elderly. It is not a physical exercise when you get out and you stretch your arms and you jump and jog. Mental exercise for the elderly. Well, for the case study, we are considering an illness of the elderly called dementia. I'm sure many of you will have come across this term, and probably some of you have taken friends and relatives to the hospital for dementia treatment. As we go along, I think we'll be able to answer the question or what we are supposed to do as mental exercise. But first, I want you to open your Bibles, if you have them here, to Ecclesiastes 12, verses 1 to 7. We are going to read Ecclesiastes 12, verses 1 to 7, to give us an insight into what God says about our sunset. Here he wants the youth to prepare for their sunset. And he gives us an insight into what may happen to us at our old age. I read, "Don't let the excitement of being young cause you to forget about your Creator. Honor him in your youth before the evil days come, when you'll no longer enjoy living. It will be too late then to remember him. When the sun and light and moon and stars are dim to your old eyes, and there is no silver lining left among your clouds. For there will come a time when your limbs will tremble with age, and your strong legs will become weak, and your teeth will be few to do their work, and there will be blindness too. Then let your lips be tightly closed while eating, when your teeth are gone, and you'll be waking at dawn with the first note of the birds, but you yourself will be deaf and tuneless, with quavering voice. You'll be afraid of heights and of falling, a white-haired, withered old man dragging himself along without sexual desire, standing at death's door and nearing his everlasting home as the mourners go along the streets." This gives us an idea. We do not need to fear. We don't need to fear the future. We just have to live by faith. The form my own will take or yours will take is not known, but definitely there are health challenges before sunset. One of them is called dementia, which we are talking about today. We want to know what dementia is. We want to know the causes of dementia. We want to know the symptoms and signs of dementia. Can it be prevented? What are the risk factors? God will give us understanding as we proceed. And I hope by the end we will have a good understanding of this elderly illness, and will help us to draw near to God. What is dementia? Dementia is not a specific disease as diabetes or hypertension, but a broad description which includes many different symptoms, including memory loss, word-finding difficulties, impaired judgment, and problems with day-to-day activities, which are caused by injury or loss of brain cells. Dementia is very common after the age of 65. Although dementia normally affects elderly people, please, just a minute. I want to announce that those who want Yoruba interpretation of this seminar should signify and move to the left corner at the back. The interpreter is waiting. Fún àǹfààní àwa tá wà ńbí tó jẹ́ pé a gbọ́ òyìnbó dáadáa, ṣùgbọ́n a fẹ́ láti máa gbọ́ nǹkan tá à ń sọ lédè abínibí, lédè Yorùbá. Wọ́n ti ṣe ètò fún wa láti wá sí ẹ̀yìn níbi tí alágbàsọ kan ó wà tí ó máa sọ bí ètò ṣe ń lọ. ǹjẹ́ àwọn kankan wà ń bí tó yẹ pé nǹkan tá à ń ṣe yóò yé wọn ní Yorùbá ju òyìnbó lọ? Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sẹ́yìn, àga wà ń bẹ̀, ẹnìkan sì wà ń bẹ̀ tí ó máa ṣe òǹgbífọ̀ nǹkan tá à ń sọ. Ẹ ṣé. Thank you. I said dementia is not a specific disease that we can hold like diabetes or hypertension, but it's a broad description which includes many different symptoms, including memory loss, word-finding difficulties. To be able to say something, you have to think before the words, you get the correct word to come out. It also includes impaired judgment and problems with day-to-day activities, which are caused by injury to our brain cells called the neurons. And I said that although dementia mainly affects elderly people, especially above 65 years of age, but it may start from the 30s and 40s and 50s. Also, it has been reported among children, but this is very, very rare. About 50 million people suffer from dementia all over the world, and about 100,000 cases are seen in Nigeria every year. What can we look for? What are the signs and the symptoms of this elderly disease called dementia? If you or your loved one is experiencing memory problems, don't immediately conclude that this is dementia. Dementia is often incorrectly referred to as senility, or you may go to the hospital and they tell you there's something like senile dementia. That was in the old. We now know that not all elderly people suffer from dementia. There is memory problem with all of us as we age. So don't think that because you can't remember something, you have dementia. A person needs to have at least 2 types of impairments that significantly interfere with everyday life to receive a diagnosis of dementia. In addition to difficulty remembering things, the person may also experience impairment in language, in communication, in focus, try to focus on something, and also reasoning. I talked about memory changes, which is part of the early signs of dementia. Trouble with memory can be an elderly symptom of dementia. The changes are often subtle and tend to involve short-term memory. An elderly person may not remember when he retired. An elderly person may remember quite vividly when he retired from service or the year he left secondary school, but may not be able to remember what he had for breakfast this morning. Other symptoms of changes in short-term memory include forgetting where they left an item, struggling to remember why they entered a particular room, or forgetting what they were to do on any given day. For instance, keeping track of a purse or wallet, paying bills, remembering to pay electricity bills or water bills, planning and even preparing your meals, remembering appointments that I have to be somewhere at this so time, or even straying away from the neighborhood. These are early signs of dementia. Another early symptom of dementia is struggling to communicate thoughts. A person with dementia may have difficulty explaining something or finding the right words to express himself or herself. Having a conversation with a person who has dementia can be difficult. So you have to be very patient with somebody who has dementia. And it may take a longer time to conclude the conversation. In early dementia, there may also be a change in mind, in mood. It is very common with dementia. If you have dementia, it's not always easy to recognize it in yourself. But you may notice this change in someone else. Depression, for instance, is typical of early dementia. Along with mood changes, you might also see a shift in personality. One typical type of personality change seen in dementia is a shift in somebody who is always shy and then quickly turning to be an outgoing person. This is because the condition often affects judgment. In early dementia, you can also find that these people are apathetic. They lose interest, they lose enthusiasm in what they normally embrace before. A person with symptoms could lose interest in hobbies or activities. Maybe during the day he meets his friends, they play IO, they play games, but you just find him or her just withdrawing. They may not want to go out anymore or do anything fun. They may lose interest in spending time with friends and family, and they may look emotionally flat. Also, we find that among the early symptoms of dementia, there is a subtle shift in the ability to complete normal tasks. This may indicate that someone has dementia. Probably you go to the kitchen, he starts cooking and just leaves off and goes to rest. This usually starts with difficulty doing more complex tasks like balancing of a check. They want to find out what balance they have. They try to sum up the income and the expenditure. They just leave it off. Or they may find difficulty in playing games that have a lot of rules. E.g., for instance, Scrabble. Or it can be chess. You know, when you are playing chess, you have to reason your next move. Or even cards. The queen and the king. They can't. Or even solving word puzzle. Along with struggle to complete familiar tasks, they may struggle to learn how to do new things or follow new routines. In the early period of dementia, they may often become confused when memory, thinking, or judgment lapses. Confusion may arise as they can no longer remember faces, find the right words to interact with people normally. Confusion can occur for a number of reasons and apply to different situations. For example, they may misplace their own keys, forget what comes next in the day, or have difficulty remembering someone they have met before. There is also difficulty following storylines due to early dementia. This is a classic early symptom of dementia. You are talking with them and suddenly they lose their thoughts. Just as finding and using the right words become difficult, people with dementia sometimes forget the meaning of words they hear or struggle to follow along with conversation on TV programs. There is also a feeling sense of direction. You also find that repetitive. They tell you something, they repeat it again, they repeat it again. They may also repeat the same questions in a conversation after they've been answered. They may struggle to adapt to change. There is difficulty in adapting to change is also a typical symptom of early dementia. What are the causes of dementia? Dementia is caused by damage to brain cells. This damage interferes with the ability of brain cells to communicate with each other. When brain cells cannot communicate normally, thinking, behavior, and feelings can be affected. The brain has many distinct regions, each of which is responsible for different functions. For example, memory, judgment, and movement. When cells in a particular region are damaged, that region cannot carry out its functions normally. While most changes in the brain that cause dementia are permanent and worsen over time, thinking and memory problems caused by the following conditions may improve when the condition is treated or addressed. So what I'm trying to say is that there are some cases or some illnesses which have some symptoms present in dementia. And when these illnesses are treated, they become better. So illnesses like depression, that medication side effects, like excess in the use of alcohol, like thyroid problems, and vitamin deficiency. We have many times of depression, which I don't need to go into. But there are also what we call the dementia-like conditions that can be reversed. They have some symptoms of dementia, but these symptoms can be reversed. And these ones can be treated. These ones include infections and immune disorders, metabolic problems, and endocrine abnormalities, especially with people who have thyroid problems, low blood sugar, too little or too much sodium or calcium, or problem with absorbing some vitamins like vitamin B12, and can develop dementia-like symptoms. Nutritional deficiency too. If we are not eating, having adequate diet, not getting enough vitamins, you can develop dementia-like symptoms. But when you take these elements, it will be reversed. Also, it may be due to medication side effects, a reaction to a medication, or an interaction of taking several medications together at the same time. It might be due to poisoning, or it might be due to brain tumors. But when you get this operated, all those symptoms will disappear. We have different stages of dementia, but I want to consider the risk factors for dementia. Many factors can eventually contribute to dementia. Risk factors include age. It includes family history. If one of your relatives or parents have dementia, it is possible because of the hereditary that you too may have dementia. But however, many people with a family history never develop symptoms, and many people without a family history do. There are tests to determine whether you have genetic mutations. Then what are the risk factors that you can change? You might be able to control the following risk factors for dementia, like diet, exercising, heavy alcohol use. You stop taking alcohol. You treat your blood pressure or high cholesterol that build up fats in your artery. You have treatment for depression and diabetes. Having diabetes can increase your risk of dementia, especially if it is poorly treated, if it is poorly controlled. Smoking is another risk factor. What are the complications of dementia? Poor nutrition. Many people with dementia eventually reduces or stop eating. You can develop lungs infection like pneumonia, inability to perform self-care risks, personal safety challenges. The diagnosis is made through several investigations, through blood tests, through x-rays. But it is harder to determine the exact type of dementia because the symptoms and brain changes of different dementias can overlap. When do you see a doctor? Forgetfulness and memory problems don't automatically point to dementia, as I've said earlier. They are normal parts of these are normal parts of aging and can also occur due to other factors, such as fatigue. How do we prevent dementia? Unfortunately, there is no sure way to prevent dementia, but there are steps you can take that can help. More research is needed, but it might be beneficial to do the following. Keep your mind active, just as we are told in Proverbs 4:23, guard your heart with all diligence, for from there arises the issue of life. Exercise yourself. Think about Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. I think there is adequate advice there about what you think and how you can keep your mind active. Be physically and socially active. Quit smoking. Get enough vitamins. Manage cardiovascular risk factors like your high blood pressure, diabetes, and your high body mass. Check your blood pressure and your diabetes regularly. Treat any health conditions that you may have. We always advise that once you are over 40, you should go for a comprehensive checkup at least once every 2 years. Maintain a healthy diet. Get quality sleep. In conclusion, let me say that sunset is a time of loneliness. Growing old is about the largest thing we have to face in this life. Mainly, growing old is about losses. We devote most of our early life to acquiring things we lose as we age. We lose our strength, we lose our looks, our friends, our job. We may lose our wealth, our home, our health, our spouse, our independence, and perhaps the greatest loss of all, our sense of dignity and self-worth. But there is one thing that you and I will never lose: the love of God. As it is stated in Isaiah chapter 46, verse 4, it says, "Even to your old age I am He, and even to gray hairs I will carry you. I have made and I will bear. Even I will carry and will deliver you." Age breaks down our strength, energy, and strips us of our busyness. It's God's way of getting us to slow down. So we'll take more time for Him. We can think more of life, more deeply about ourselves and others. Sunset is like opening a door to increased opportunity And it is the best time to grow in grace and in godliness, in inner strength and beauty of character. Our ultimate hopes in terrible illness, persecution, or pain is realizing that this life is not all there is. There is life after death. Whether we are crippled or deaf and having one deformity or the other, or we have dementia, or we are suffering from the aftermath of stroke, we shall exchange this perishable body for imperishable if we are in the Lord. Knowing that we will live together with God in a place without sin and suffering, help us live above the pain we must face in this life. May God bless us and give us a beautiful sunset.
Each day I'll do a golden deed by helping those who are in need. My life on earth is but a span, and so I'll do the best I can. Life's evening sun is sinking low. A few more days, and I must